Which one was that?
The discussion on the website.
Okay, is that something that you're,
Sure.
okay,
Switch gears here.
so we're gonna move down to item 10, the town website, and then give the town manager a second to decide that.
Okay. Well, this is the website that I recommended the select board twice. Still making that recommendation. I base that on the budget and some of the concerns that were raised by the panel that took the time to look at some of the things that they felt were important, these capabilities that the website should have. The areas that were identified were an alert center with email and text notifications, community calendar of events, fillable forms, compliant with ADA, and easy to navigate, as well as a robust administrative process. I contacted Town Cloud, and so to start off, the alert center, that is something that they could offer. It's actually it's technology that they're currently working on now to offer to their clients. They expect to offer that at no cost when that happens. However, at this time, they would use the service. There's a variety of services out there, my understanding. Constant Contact is one, MailChimp is another. That's about it's about $12 a month, $12 or $13 a month, depending on which one you pick. So they would be able to integrate that service into this website. I would tell you that this website is actually something that they did. I didn't ask them to do this. This is a kind of an idea of what the website could look like, so people could get a picture of what that is. I've been talking with people in the community, and a community calendar of events is also something that people felt was important to have. That is something that they have. He was able to easily pop one of those in there. The great thing about this is that we can limit the permissions to this section only. So various church groups or historical society or anyone. The thought is that there's a lot of activities going on in town with our rec department and various groups, and we'd like to see things not overlap each other, and so this would be one way to do that if people were plugging in, events that they had going on. One may reconsider that and setting up, an event for that time frame. So anyway, that meets the community events, or excuse me, calendar, community calendar. And the other was fillable forms, and that is also something that they're able to do as well. See if I can find it here. Fillable forms. So this is the Parks and Rec section that's being, and this is all under construction. This is kind of give you an idea what things look like. So I sent over a couple of registration forms. One is register for online youth basketball, let's say. So the nice thing about this is as the panel recognizes, it is definitely a time saver for everyone. And so we appreciate that, and it's all kind of preloaded probably on the settings. I'm not a huge techie by any means, but I can plug in all this stuff here and go in and fill all that stuff in. So this is fillable forms. The thought is that this would be able to be linked. You'd be able to capture these forms and do this work. Fill out a registration form online. The easy to navigate is, in my opinion, it is easy to navigate, but that's a very subjective topic, so I won't focus too much on that. And as far as the administrative process goes, this would allow 4 admins, and I think that's enough for our town. Budget was a big part of it, and we're going to be talking about budget a little bit later on tonight. Out of a $27,500 budget, I think I got about $4,000 left in there for the remainder of the year. Big part of that's for Trio. About 17,000 was for Trio. This proposal is comparable to what we're currently spending on our current website. So I kind of think we can have our cake and eat it too. We can have a website with the things that the group had identified, and still keep things under budget. That's pretty much my spiel.
Either one of you folks have a response or?
Aaron, did they give you any idea of when that the sometimes stuff will be available?
Oh, so, well, again, like with the sometimes stuff, I mean, I'd be a little more specific, I guess, but like as far as the notifications go, I mean, that's available now. It's just, it's $12 a month expense. So I don't know what else you're thinking.
Charging $144 for that service to a service that's how much compared to the other two?
So revised charge is 5,300 a year, Civic Plus is 4,700 a year. They're looking at 5-year plans. My concern is that there were, in talking with Chris Haywood about this, there are fees that can be added on kind of thing, and I'm kind of worried about getting into that. He did kind of point those out. This is sorry.
Fees for who?
So just some of the other groups that we looked at, let me go to that email. I think Refresh was one of them. Let me see if I can pull up the.
So they're not with Town Cloud, it's with the more expensive ones.
Right.
They
Yeah.
have additional fees above
Right.
and beyond.
Yeah, I feel,
Above the base.
yeah, this is, you can see what you're getting. There's a lot of different things added on that you can pay for with these other sites. The devil's kind of in the details here. Civic Plus talks about, you can add a business directory at $800 a year, a projects directory for $385, properties, parks, bids, RFPs, $228. These are different enhancements. They're optional enhancements. Text messaging, up to 20,000 texts is $550 a year. I believe the one that I've been looking at is about 500. So I don't know quite how many. I just don't know. I mean, we haven't really. I don't know if 20,000 is going to be too much or enough or what. Additional pages of content migration, $250 for 50 pages. I'm just, I kind of know what I'm getting into, I think, with Town Cloud, and I'm just that's kind of one of my concerns, and I don't know if we go down that road, if there's going to be, Revise has, annual hosting and maintenance fee, $950. Again, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's inclusive or what. There's just a lot of different numbers being thrown around here. So kind of pointed out a few things here that might explain it better than I could.
I'm seeing the numbers for different proposals are a starting point, inclusive for the other two. The Town Cloud, it sounds like he's talked about additional add-ons and $144 a year for one service, which is far less.
Doug, do you have any idea how much of the town's adult population, 3,000 or so, are plugged into the web, i.e. the digitary?
I don't really know. I don't have a clue. I think it's probably pretty significant.
Really?
Even a lot of the elderly folks.
Mature.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you.
Mature folks.
I do. Just since I've got a comment here, when sharing it,
Please.
One of the concerns that's kind of been floated around the community and stuff is exposure to what's going on the select board and other meetings and things like that. And I really feel like this is the first time that the town administration has taken a step to do something, and it's really too bad to delay this thing while we try to get something in the budget next year. I mean, there's no guarantee you get it approved in the budget. You've got an opportunity in front of you to take something and get it in place right away. And I don't know if there's a contract involved with it, but it's going to take you a couple of 3 years probably just to get a feel for this thing and get your administrative policies in place that you want to have. For text messages as an example, what do you want a text message and what's the extent of, that's going to take some feeling out for you. You can't jump into these things totally. If most of that stuff that we were looking for, is what the team was looking for, seems to be available in one form or another, and this Town Cloud, we encourage you to move forward with this thing going.
Thank you.
So I got Amy and then David next, right? So Amy and then
So just in general, asking what percentage of the population is aligned, so to speak. I mean, I don't have the numbers on top of my head, but GrowSmart, part of the digital equity group that I've been working with, get a fairly accurate estimate of it, if you want. I just don't have it at.
Is it 10% or is it 60?
Well, the overall Kennebec County number is around 25% not connected, maybe a little less than that. I just don't know.
We're gonna hire average age group than the counties, but it's gonna be a different department.
One of the, first of all, David Trust, one of the things you want to remember with that not connected number though, is we find that especially at school, there's a lot of families that don't have internet in terms of an internet service, they all have phones. So they're just using the internet, you know, they're using it unlimited for and using it phone for internet. In fact, during COVID, we had several parents who were tethering. You know, when I did, you know, on the lower end of social economic scale, they were just basically tethering. So one thing, before I forget this, one thing that you want to make sure is the town cloud or whoever, if I have to deal with the school website, it becomes mobile friendly. Okay, because website that you have to remember that's probably going to be the way that more than 50% of the people in town are going to consume their website is through a phone. So it needs to be mobile friendly. The school website, when I did it last time, one of the reasons why we use Google Sites is because it will actually automatically take whatever I put in and make it mobile friendly. So the text message thing, I'm going to warn you about that one. You do that at school, and just today, phone call. I don't want any more of those damn texts. Okay,
You gotta maintain
Get
it.
on that road. Get on that road. You can expect the phone at the town office to start ringing a few months later when people don't realize how to get off it. So, it's got to be made very clear on the website how to get in and out of text messaging, or because it will drive people crazy. And you'll also run into situations where you have old numbers. You'll have a number that now belongs to someone else because they, when you give up your phone number in quick carrier, that number goes back into a pool, and someone else will end up with it, and they keep getting the text message.
They don't care that the transfer station's closed today due to inclement weather.
Yeah, exactly. So,
I get it.
Our biggest issue
I'm fine,
is from people who, we have several people who get new numbers. I don't even know who this is. I live in Levant. Why am I getting stuff from Vacaville? And a lot of it is people who kids have moved on or grandkids have moved on, and they opted into something but couldn't figure out how to opt out. Now our system is also automated. It pulls from our student information system the parent numbers and stuff like that. And for the most part, it cleans itself out. So what we deal with is nothing compared to what you might end up dealing with. Just letting you know. I'm willing to offer, I'm willing to answer any questions that I can. I was looking at their website, for example, the calendar, the Google Calendar, which is a good idea, that people can subscribe to it. The form thing, that's really easy to do. I'm sorry, it's not hard to do. As far as one question I do have is, what type of a contract would they be locking you into?
3 years.
What, 3 years?
Were they all 3 years?
I'm not.
No, the other ones were 5, I believe.
Okay.
You're very,
Oh, the other one is 5?
Yeah.
Everybody's had a refresh built into it in their 4th year of their 5 years.
But the only thing I was kind of trying to piggyback off what Doug said, put something in place and then you change your mind. But it sounds to me like you won't be able to change your mind, at least not for 3 years, without paying a penalty.
I would just note too, just with the cost that they've presented, it is at a 30% discount. So if after 3 years, it would, my assumption is it's going to go up.
I'm assuming the town cloud is going to host it.
What do you mean?
Generally speaking, most web developers host their own stuff.
Oh, yes,
And
absolutely.
you mentioned that one of
They
them.
created this from the ground. Sorry.
One of them, you mentioned that one of them is going to charge you a maintenance fee for hosting and so forth. That seems kind of silly.
It was built into the fee.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm not clear as, on that yet.
Some questions? Happy to help.
So
I've been doing this for years.
if we did town cloud, the only thing doing diligence would be just to make sure that it's going to work okay on a mobile app.
My understanding is that it does.
If they do a mock-up for you, they should be able to very quickly. I would imagine. If they
I
do
mean, I
that
can go
mock-up,
to-
they probably ought to have a,
You can go to, they have other, town of Livermore has one. I mean, you can
Yeah.
look, I think St. Albans is one that they do.
If you guys talk to other towns, China has these guys, right?
No, St. Albans does. Yeah, so I mean, it's very, in my opinion, it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Good.
Yeah,
How often do they update it and who's responsible for updating?
we'll be doing in-house.
Physically?
Yes.
So you're updating forms.
Yes, we'll be able to sculpt it at just about all of it, yeah.
You mean the structure or the comments?
I meant the structure, I mean, bringing the forms, make sure the forms are updated.
Mm,
I don't know-
yes.
I don't know about the calendar and events, I guess.
I think that's pretty- Yeah.
Does Google Calendar, what we have on our current website?
I don't think you can put a link to Google Calendar. That was something that was added recently and
If you're gonna use the calendar, I highly recommend that you got to definitely, and not only that, but you subscribe to it.
What is this town purpose?
So it's
$3,600
$3,600
for 3 years.
3,600 for 3 years. It also, yeah, and that also includes it's called Agenda. And I can pull it up again.
I think it's $3,600 for 3 years.
1,200 a
Yeah.
year.
But basically what it does is, this is something that I would like to do because, I'm sure these other sites would do that as well. But we're stewards of these records, and if we can scan in the packets and all the information, the supporting documents that we have here, it's not just in our file, it's out there for everyone to read. So when we have a meeting, I have a variety, I have supporting documents about the discussion we're going to have. And so down the road, you may say, geez, what did I do with that? And you're not digging through filing cabinets. We have it all right up there on the website. So you click on the packet from that meeting, and there you go. There's all the information that we were talking. So I believe that's $60 a month. But again, Chris is right with the 3,600. That would include this module publishing.
Just out of curiosity, where is the calendar on the current website?
Where's what? Sorry.
On the current website,
I was just scrolling.
and I can tell you that the current website is not mobile friendly at all.
No, it's also not secure. And
Oh, an event maybe?
Yeah, I think you're right. I personally would like to, regardless of how we vote, thank Laura and the folks that committed to reviewing the web our process, because frankly, had they not get together, some of their ideas
Would have been missed.
would have been missed. I've consistently supported Town Cloud just from a financial perspective. We have folks in town that are socially, economically disadvantaged or on a fixed income that are already regularly commenting to us that the tax increase that we experienced this year was something that they were struggling to deal with or didn't like. This is a 3-year commitment. It's not the end of the world if we go this route. $1,200 a year, which is about what we're paying David. So there's no real impact to the budget. And if we don't like it, then we can budget appropriately for a new site. I mean, I do agree. I like the revision site. I'm from Camden. Camden uses it. It's easy to use, but it's $26,000 and
for 5 years.
for 5 years
Versus 3.
versus 3,000 for 3 years. So
26 per year.
no, for
Like-
5 years total, it's
So
26,000
it's cheap.
A little over $5,000.
We paid David.
1,000?
for 5 years, 26,000.
I mean, it varies.
That's the basic.
Sorry, so
Like-
revised is 26,550, and it's 5,300 a year. Sorry, and Civic Plus was 19,830 and 19,830.
Aaron, can you put up what she's trying to show a little bit bigger? Because that's
What's that?
she's got the different prices for people.
So I don't have that right at my fingertips. I mean, I have it here. But yeah, so the number.
So we're also at a crossroads. I mean, we've been talking with David about how much longer he wants to manage this website. We really have to move forward with something. And I agree with Doug that this might be the most logical step. And then, I mean, even if we didn't like it after next year and we bought the contract out, we're buying it out for $2,000 and, we're moving on. So, it's not the end of the world. Go ahead, Dubs.
And I think too, if, it's a 30% discount, it goes up, if it's 30% on maybe after the term is over $1,000, it still seems like pretty good value comparatively to.
What aren't you getting a little more expensive? If you usually get what you pay. And so functionality that the other ones you said, vision, some others that were, 40+% more than these guys. What do they have that you're not going to get and you need? I think I saw Laura had a list of criteria, and I know that I got together that showed that that's where the priorities lay. So there must be some functionality that Town Cloud is not providing. And if, look at that and say, you know, we really don't need that. I'm like, I don't know if anybody's done that assessment. I know what the process is, and Pecos decided to change that. Yeah, I totally understand costs, but are you missing out on some significant aspect? Or did what Aaron go through, is that appreciated?
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, that, for me, that's a hard, maybe Laura can elaborate. For me, that's a hard question to answer. But I do know this, that there were 6 areas that were identified that were important, that that panel had identified, and this website addresses them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say, because you referenced Constant Contact and MailChimp as equivalents to the email and text alerts. I'm very familiar with Constant Contact. I wouldn't, unless there's some function that I've never used, that's not a real-time subscription-based text alert process. So I don't think that's necessarily an apples to apples comparison.
What about the other one, the MailChimp?
MailChimp is very similar to Constant Contact. It's what companies use for their email lists. It's more of a, you prepare an ad that goes out versus people subscribe. You know, I want to get alerts on these specific topics.
You get
And it
game that
automatically-
probably comes from MailChimp. MailChimp is probably the most popular one in the world. That, believe it or not, was cool calling me. With a robocall.
Snow tomorrow morning.
One thing if I may, one thing that I've noticed is just listening to conversations with people in town, watching stuff happening online, is that, and I caution you with this because the school's website has been through so many iterations over the years. And the last one was kind of a painful iteration. In the sense we finally sat down and really hammered out what we were supposed to be doing. Because we found that there were parts of the website, you know, everybody said, oh, we gotta have this. Okay. And then we put that in there and one person visited it over 3 months. And it was probably me. So, and also the other thing I caught you again, everybody wants their thing on the homepage. Okay. And so we had to take a really hard, long look at what it is that people really need, what it is that people really want to go to. And you've got a list of the things that people have found important through the committee and so forth. There was a comment that I read somewhere about putting information about services for seniors and stuff like that, which is noble, but the town is not a senior services provider. Okay? Maybe a few links here and there, but if you dedicate an entire section of the website to directing people where to go when they really should be going to those websites to do that in the first place. There are complete organizations out there. In fact, I stumbled on a few of them, to be honest, that list all of those places to go. I guess what I'm cautioning you again, if you try to be all things to all people, you're going to end up being nothing from up. And you need to really decide what it is that you want. And that's one of the things that a professional website host can do for you. They can narrow it down and say, no, it doesn't belong to me.
I mean,
The 3 companies we looked at are specifically for municipalities, so they've already kind of done that.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
We haven't really heard complaints about wanting more from the website from the general public. The only additions we're getting is things that the committee found and noticed and brought to our attention. So I don't know if that's a good if that 6 or 8 people is a good representation of the whole town as a whole, but it was things that were brought up that made sense or looked like good things, you know, to add on.
Yeah.
Ollie, did you have a question?
When we put up one of these, whatever program we decide on, whether it's the town cloud or not, really one of the things that I find hard about trying to understand what's happening in the town is that, like, you all see a report, you know, police reports and town road reports and regularly, and we here in the audience almost never get access to that. So how can we as a public really review? I mean, you're doing our review for us tonight. Thank you for doing that. But if I want to review or think about, well, what is really, you know, like, we don't have a sense about like what's happening to the police chief, you know, what is he doing? How, you know, so we could get an idea. And if I could go online and just say, somebody wanted to know how much time does he really spend in a month dealing with this XYZ, I could go to a site and actually see the reports. And so I'm wondering whether there's a plan to have where things like the road reports or things like, you know, the budget, as we get to the budget, it's very hard to find access to those numbers, is there going to be a place that we can see those, like before the town meetings or before the select board meetings? Or will
Yes.
they be, and will they be kept in there so we can look back at them?
So this is what agenda is. This is the feature I was talking about earlier. So if I was to back out here, this is kind of what what it really looked like. This is a September 7th select board meeting. Here's your agenda. This is kind of what it's, you can click on what Chris did all this, Chris Haywood did this. You're seeing here, what's in the agenda. So this is kind of like an electronic agenda. So here are your draft minutes. Click on that, you have your minutes. You're talking about like reports and things like that. Here's my report that I give to the select board to just kind of show people what it is that I'm doing while I'm in the office. And then, that's the agenda. And then this is the packet that we talked about earlier. So that's all this stuff in PDF format that is compiled together. We talked about this tactical urbanism here, one of the meetings. So again, I mean, it's there. It'll be there, that kind of thing. And it's not, well, geez, what do I do with it? And, you know, we have so much paper that we're going through. So, and it's transparent.
This has been a process that we've been really working on for the last 2 years. There's always been an obstacle that's prevented us from kind of getting the ball over the goal line, you know. I mean, and the biggest one is, frankly, Mary retiring. We were finally starting to make some progress. And so what we're moving forward to now is we have to upgrade the infrastructure of the building. It's not capable of handling what we need. We need to establish some form of website to replace the one that Mr. Jennings has done for us for so many years, and handle policies that are related to some of the social media aspects of the town, which we've never had until this year. And then, you know, we can't be myopic on just that one project either. We have multiple things going on at once. So it's just building blocks to get there, and hopefully we'll be there sooner rather than later.
Well, and the other thing we also has been kind of missing from this conversation so far is we've only got 4 staff, and who's going to put this data in? Who's going to maintain these lists? The more we add, the more time it's going to take. And if you got people who are pretty much maxed at their hours, what are they giving up? What's going to get behind? Or do we have to allocate a temp or additional people to do that? So while we want to add as much as we can, we're also going to make sure that, you know, how much time are you putting in, for example, to put in a whole bunch of people's cell phone numbers and to maintain that versus what you get out of it. Not to say that it's not value, it's just the time's going to come from somewhere. You know, a lot of these municipalities are 100,000 people, and they've got 30 or 40 people working in their municipal offices. So they've got the resources and the bench strength to do that. So that's something we also have to look at or keep in mind with this.
Doug in Dallas.
I would just say over the last week or so, I've looked at, let's see, five different towns, of which most of them were one of these companies that you considered. And most of them have that kind of a feature that Aaron was just displaying, where you can see the agenda, you can see the minutes that they're going to put. If the minutes show up afterwards, they're supposed to
Watermarked in the draft.
Yeah, and then, you know, the packet that goes with it, and some of them were, you know, I mean, you're talking multiple pages, you know what you get, and that's what's going to be. I thought it was very interesting that on Winslow's site, which was revised, I believe.
Yes.
When you want to look at the agenda and the minutes and the packet, you have to link, they have a link to Town Cloud to get that.
Oh,
I don't know what that has to do with any of it.
it's because they sell agenda separately.
Oh, is that right?
I think it's $60 a month. It's one of their features.
Yeah.
The pricing I gave is inclusive, that it includes agenda.
I just thought that was interesting that, you know,
But the higher priced one is using a Town Cloud module.
yeah, well, the town is probably because they couldn't get them.
Because they haven't.
Dal, did you?
Yeah, it was kind of, Rick, I think, read my mind, as we were talking, asking about these forms and who's going to update, is there going to be able to, see this and that online, but who's going to do that? Does this down the road put us in a position where we create another FTE or part-time person solely dedicated to sort of managing the data that goes in and out of the website? And I'm all for this, but just kind of thinking, well, where does this take us down the road? I think that's a good question. And again, if we don't necessarily know what the town wants, it's correct me if I'm wrong, we don't know if the town wants it. There's a committee of 8 people that decided on these 6 topics. So not to say anything negative about many members, but we don't actually know if the 4,500 people in town want them sort of deciding for them.
I think
Dallas, there's been a Facebook posting requesting help on making this decision, and all our names and phone numbers were in there. I've not received them.
But
I got one,
I agree.
David.
It's the hard. It's the hard.
Which question I'm talking?
That we had only gotten one phone call on the Facebook posting about the town website. Yeah.
Got a few emails, but no calls.
I would like to respond to what Dallas was just talking about. I'm confident that we can absorb this in-house as we current. I can't speak to what happens down the road as far as, positions and things like that. I know we could use some help in some other areas, like, on the bookkeeping side of things. We've talked a little bit about that. We did raise $9,000 at town meeting to help with a part-time position. But even with, I don't expect that person to even be doing this. Actually, I expect that person to focus a little more on the bookkeeping side of things. So anyway, I feel comfortable that the workload is not going to put a huge strain on the current office staff.
Yeah, okay. So also because as a department head, I wouldn't have access to recreation. So I'm not looking at, I think the initial input is where the work's going to be. Because I think maintaining is not going to be the issue. It's just getting all the information. Because once you have your forms, then you're just going to be updating them. So I think once it's loaded, that's where you work. But to maintain it.
Since I've been on the board, Dallas, we've always had some sort of conversation about how our staffing is and the flow. And the biggest conversation piece that I can recall going back 3 years now is cross training people so that we can absorb if somebody's out. I mean, Public Works has done a heck of a job this year being down a person for most of the summer. Walker's filled in when he's 10, but those types of things happen here when the town office person's on vacation or a family tragedy happens. Now we're down to, one person, working the front desk. Now you got the bookkeeper coming out of the town manager, helping out overflow. We want, the highest paid employee in the town office doing that. I mean, that's the questions that we have to kind of unravel down the road. But I agree with Aaron. I don't think no matter what site we go to, we're going to see an increase demand for employee hours, FTE hours. And I suspect they probably have downtime too.
That's why I mean we can absorb it with the current workforce we have in here now.
As long as we manage what we put out there, we put a whole bunch of different things out there. It could go the other way. Certain things will be time wasters, and I think that's.
I can see with a new system and lots of bells and whistles and kind of a Cadillac version. Oh, you know what? Now we can do this. Oh, now we can do that. It's time. It could become too much for the existing employees, and down the road, maybe not next year or the next 3 years, 5-10 years down the road, make them gain 1 or 2 more people perhaps manage this.
Dave, did you have something to follow up on?
The initial setup is the big thing.
Oh, yeah. So one of the ways that we deal with, one of the items of minutia, I would say, with public records and stuff like that, agendas and all that sort of stuff that we have for school board meetings. We don't actually put the agenda on the page. We put a link to the folder that contains the agenda. So what happens is our office people, which is often myself, but it can be the secretary in the office, when she types up, when Al gives her the agenda and she types it up, she simply puts it in that folder. We use Google Drive. She puts it in that folder, and it's now on the internet. So when you click on the link that says agendas, it takes you to that folder. And we hope that you're smart enough to know that my 2023 agenda is the one that you want to look for, because that's the name of the file. And you click on it, you open it up, and you can read it from there. But what happens, what it cuts down on it, you don't need a webmaster to take that file, put it up on the page so that everybody can read it. You want to see the agenda, click here. And same thing with minutes. When the minutes are finally approved and so forth, they just get dumped in that folder, and there's no other interaction. The secretary puts it in the folder. It doesn't have to go up, face value on the website. If you want to see the minutes to the last meeting, here they are. It really saves a lot of time when how we started to do that. And at one point, I have to admit, we stupidly would post every PDF, put it on the website and so forth, and it just tedious, so tedious, and, it's just a lot easier to send people to where they need to go, and you click on it, and they open it up and go.
Amy?
I apologize if I missed it, so it's meetings like this meeting, maybe the Bassboro Conservation Committee and other committee meetings can be. Will there be a link to the service on the town website? That's something that's not this it's part of the functionality.
So you're saying having, when you say a link with other meetings, are you talking about like the
So
minutes?
seeing their
Or-
or things that are videos, like this meeting today could potentially be.
So that's something that we've spent quite a bit of time on over the past few months is how we're going to do it. And I actually, and we're going to talk a little bit about this later in the agenda, but we have somebody coming out. We're going to start with the base. So we're going to have somebody come out, look at what we have for our infrastructure here, wiring, networking, things like that. And he's going to give us a good look at that. We know that we need to do some upgrades here. I wanted to get a new phone system in here. It actually would have saved the town some money, which is really bizarre, but it was a new phone system. And we found out, unfortunately, that we couldn't do it based on the wiring that's in here. So that's something that we'll be looking at. But the thought is, we're moving towards remote meeting. And I think that, it's we're navigating through the policy. We have to look at policy and things like that. I know people have expressed interest in having every committee have this connected to the web. So it's not just the select board, it's the planning board and whoever is a meeting here in the town office kind of thing. So it's out there for everyone. It's recorded. We have a record of it. You could watch from the comfort of your own home. So that's the plan.
Yes, there are two plans, independent of the policy, because I'm all for that. I just was asking does town cloud have capacity linking if the council decides to have these available for the different committees, is that functionality within town cloud to be a great place to be hosted on the town website?
So
Might be.
documents go like a peel on it now. They take a photo of basic.
Yeah.
That would not be an issue. But
I haven't heard that as a concern.
video, that's a different matter. That would be,
But you could link, right?
yeah, you would have to set up a YouTube channel for town and you basically would.
That's all it'd be.
When we-
You
when we
plug the
do
link
the
in
meeting-
there you go. It's off to YouTube or wherever.
When we do the
So-
school board meeting, we're basically streaming live through YouTube, and at the end of the live stream, it's now recorded and kept forever. So you it turned out to be my school channel. So if you went to my school channel, you could actually see. So like, for example, there was a school board meeting on Tuesday night. If you go to the school website and click on that watch here link, you can watch that school board.
I did.
I like it.
And that's hosted on YouTube.
All right.
And because it's a public meeting, you might as well make it public.
So we exhausted all the comments on this matter.
It's exhausted the boards and meetings.
All right. So do we have a motion one way or the other, John?
Frame it.
All right. Well, I mean, I've been consistent, so I'm making a motion that we follow the town manager's recommendation for town cloud with the recommendations from the Tiger committee. Yeah.
I will second.
All those in favor? All those opposed? All right, 3-0.